Now that the channel has been launched, will you be making music videos for the album that you launched recently?
Oh, absolutely. It just absolutely didn't make sense when we launched the album to spend money and make expensive videos and just only to put it out on YouTube and then you're sitting on Facebook and did you watch my video? Did you watch my video? Television is a forced medium and people are forced to watch whatever is getting shown.
Yeah.
So I hope it makes sense now. Definitely we'll start saving money and start shooting some quality videos for our songs which people already love. So we know that it will be a hit if a good video is made.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll definitely make the best use of MTBTs and hopefully it will give back the results what we are expecting it out of.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you feel artists will feel the financial pressure of making videos aside from making albums?
There are artists and then there are smarter artists. So there's always a smarter way to do it and it need not necessarily mean huge amount of money to spend to make expensive videos. Now videos are being shot on a camera like this. Earlier when I was making video for my first album, we had to hire a camera, we had to hire a rig, we still can do all that, but it is not necessary anymore. In its truest sense, independent artists can now make indie looking videos also, and I think that's the charm of an independent musician rather than a slick looking with chicks dancing and all. It will just make it look like another Bollywood
commercial
video. So yeah, I think with a camera like this, if the artist himself is talented enough, I think that's great. If you can shoot your own videos, or at least it will give rise to a lot more filmmakers now a chance to make music videos.
How do you think the channel will fare, in your opinion? How do you think the channel will meet the expectations of both the audiences and the artists?
But I can only speak from the artist point of view right now. For us as artists, I think it's a great blessing. Like I said earlier, because of this channel, we'll now probably finally we found a visual medium to reach to an audience which we would have otherwise never reached at all, which is the sitting at home watching TV, couch potatoes, who would have never bothered to check out our kind of music by going to a concert. So for those kind of people, this is a great boon, and I hope there are more number of people like that than the ones coming to the concert, and eventually inspire those couch potatoes to get out of their seats and come to our concert because they watched us on TV. If that happens, then we have a great translation of the intention and the result.
So you're aiming at the very source of their exposure towards your music.
So I hope channel does that. And then as far as artists is concerned, we're just happy to be on TV and get popular. We don't really need a popular actor to lip sync our songs to become popular anymore.
Do you plan on collaborating with any of today's performances in the near future?
Oh, we've done in the past, like Karsh, Kale and I have done a song along with Medieval Pandits, and the very essence of the Raghu Dixit project has been to collaborate with musicians whom I like to play with, or musicians who like to play with me. So that essence is always, that door is always open for musicians to walk and say, hey Raghu, let's make a song. And that's the easiest way for me to make a song rather than scratching my brain saying, aaj to tune nahi aa raha hai. So another musician always inspires me to make a new song.
All your music, the one that stands out most for me is was your composition for the main titles of the Tewari.
Yeah, okay.
Very, very enduring. Do you plan to extend your scope at scoring music?
Oh yes, I would. I've done that for a longest period of time when my live performances were yet to start paying me. Jingles was what I used to do, and I hope that will get extended from 30 seconds to 3.5 minute songs for movies, which I started doing. I've done just my second movie in Bollywood called Bewkufiyan for Yash Raj. So yeah, I hope I find a space where the music I make also finds space in a certain film. So if that happens, then great. And again, I would reiterate that MTV Indies will also lead us to those avenues where people will discover us, saying, "Hey, इस बंदे का म्यूजिक तो ठीक लग रहा है मेरे को." You know, some producer would say, "हाँ, ये item number भी कर लेगा maybe." So maybe we will get other opportunities which we would have never imagined.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah. What are your musical influences as a band and as your individual being composer?
As a band, it keeps changing simply because it depends on the kind of people collaborating with me in the band lineup at that particular point of time. But personally, more than any certain kind of music or certain kind of musician, it's mainly this beautiful country I've grown up and lived in, which inspires me continuously. We have enough number of inspiration, great poets who have written great words, and there's enough number of cultures to get inspired from, enough kinds of foods. Like sometimes you eat chatpata food from Rajasthan or something like that.
Yes.
You get inspired to make one chatpata song.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that. You go and eat a fish curry in Bengal, you might end up being a ball singer. I don't know. Maybe this is my way of getting inspired at least.
question in, since you've been hired as the programming head of Pepsi MTV Indies. Last year, MTV had its own musically influenced scripted series called Bring On The Night. It was tremendously popular on the online base. Do you plan on bringing in more scripted series?
Probably not. Right now there is no plan as such in programming. We're just thinking of doing snack programming. It's not appointment-based programming at the moment, and it's just so when you switch the television screen, all it'll feel like as if you're on your Facebook page or something. So it'll be one song, one snippet. Nothing is more than 8 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Everything is small, tight, snacky.
Okay.
So right now we're not looking at any flagship program, but slowly I think it'll take time.
The Duelists was another program that aired on MTV after 2 seasons on Star World. Do you think the Duelists will now come on MTV Indies?
Could be. Maybe, I have no idea right now.
Oh, okay.
And I was not seeing MTV
All right.
for a while.
All right. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you had time to work on your current album with the collective?
That's in fact what I'm doing right now, as we speak. Last about 12 days, been in the studio. We're doing tracking and working on the songs. I mean, this album's been in the works for about 2 years now, but we're taking long gaps in between working on the album and then coming back to the studio. So right now is crunch time for us. We're all kind of working against the clock because I'm leaving in 3-4 days. So,
oh.
Yeah. So I'm working on the album right now. So hopefully by in a couple of months we'll be done.
Oh, fantastic! Because it was supposed to be released by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a
postpone.
Yeah, there was a bit of a gap that we took. I was with this album. Every album I've done, I've taken about 4 months, and I just kind of, from beginning to end, just knock it all out, get into the studio, and just concentrate on that. Don't do any shows. And this album, I think, because I've taken the time to sit back and consider the tracks, listen to them properly, travel with them, get out of the studio. It's given the album a whole new life, and it's for me, it's definitely, I feel like, the best stuff that I've ever worked on because I've had the luxury of time to be able to walk away and because there's no deadline really. I mean, the only deadlines that are ones that I put on the album. If I say it's coming out in the summertime and it's not done, then it's not coming out in the summertime.
If a channel like Indies was to come out when you started out, how would your career trajectory have been?
I think it would have been very helpful. I think it was for me. I mean, every time I put out a record, or even before that, while I was a session musician and working with different artists and stuff like that, there was always kind of mainstream roadblocks to what it was that we were doing. So it would have been very helpful to be able to get on television. And, I mean, television is a huge platform, so you're reaching millions and millions of people with something that otherwise you have to go city to city to be able to accomplish.
How do you think the channel will help grow the reach of the indie music scene in India? Would the audiences be receptive?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who are all these people coming to the festivals? These festivals are happening. I remember 4 years back when there was 1 or 2, and now every month there's a festival. There's been mainstream artists are coming in. When I go back to New York, I meet so many of the musicians that I know from the scene who are like, oh, we want to come and play in India. We've heard about the scene. We've seen it on YouTube. We've seen how big this thing is getting and how exciting the audience is. So yeah, I think that there is absolutely an audience out there for this.
What are your future plans? I mean, project-wise and tour-wise.
Right now, to finish the album, and then obviously touring as many shows as we possibly can. My goal is to also take this album out to the world.
Have you been sampling a lot of the tracks of your current album while touring?
As far as performing live, only a couple of songs. We've been kind of keeping it under wraps, and I'm most excited to kind of come out with a completely brand new show, with all new songs where we play the album from beginning to end. So I've been kind of holding back. We have a lot of material from older albums and the different stuff that we've done before.
What are your musical influences, as personally and while working on an album?
It's always kind of the same. I mean, I grew up listening to rock music and I grew up playing Indian classical music. So those two things are very much a part of my blood. I would say Indian classical music and the blues are two, streams that flow through my veins.
Really?
And then everything, fusion, jazz, everything from swing jazz to 70s fusion jazz, experimental music, ambient music, film music, electronic music, punk, hip hop, all that stuff, everything. I mean, I listen to all kinds of music. And then when I get down to making music, I really don't hold back in terms of what genre I'm supposed to belong to. I just make music.